And so wanting to just kind of talk about a child consult that I've had recently. There was a child that was really distressed for most of the day, for several days, at the beginning of the year. And a teacher was really struggling and having a hard time, being very overwhelmed. This was the first time this young child, who was around toddler age, was in a childcare setting. So really discussing with teacher and wondering with the teacher about, the perspective of the child and how they're feeling separating from their caregiver for the first time. The caregivers were also having some struggles with separating, where their older children had never entered childcare at all. So this was also a new experience for the family. And so some of the things that were helpful for this teacher was really talking about child's experience, but also, perspective from family and how this was, really different than any of their, previous experiences. Also empowering teacher to help, family build routine and consistency, even though it could have been really hard because of the distress that they knew about, or that they were sort of talking about. Another sort of support was really validating teachers' overwhelm with having, she was experienced and she really was struggling and really, wanted support in that way. And also there was a piece that, once the consultation began, that I was able to get the information from family was that child was receiving some, early intervention services, and that the child was actually on a wait list to get further evaluated. And that helped really inform teacher of that this child had some other things going on besides the transition to having, being in a childcare center, that there may be some other needs to consider. And so part of the consultative stance that was really helpful was not only the centrality of the relationship, really helping teacher to build a very safe and secure attachment to this child, and really being very consistent and nurturing, but then also being very patient, holding hope. Those are sort of the things that was really helpful, because sort of that was at the beginning of the school year, and now that we're at the end, the teacher has we've reflected on and talked about how she was not, she didn't give up on this child. She felt very proud that she remembers that it was very hard, in the beginning, and that that sort of coming out onto the other side was just really, something she was very proud and very excited for this child, who has been thriving and has been, connecting with his peers, and also was able to build a great relationship with a newer teacher, which was really great, because that was not the case in the beginning. And so wanting to just kind of talk about a child consult that I've had recently.